Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about ads and how they're getting a little creepy. I see this a lot on TikTok as I'm just scrolling and I'll get ads like this.
Plus size girlies do not get this dress unless you want to answer the same question 1,000 times a day. And that's where'd you get your dress from?
And I noticed how these ads really like to use this parasocial language to engage with their customer base. This happened to me a couple weeks ago where I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across this particular ad.
Big booby girls. If you've got big milk jugs, we all know that we get irritation underneath there.
The editing style as well is also really similar. They seem to follow the same pattern, and it's usually cuts that are very quick, close-up shots, and sometimes quite jarring message statements, or they start the video with something a bit unconventional like this.
Girls, if you're wanting back shots but you've got barnacle butt that looks like this or this, you want it to look like this, then you're going to be needing this.
If you want to get your back door smashed in but your butt looks like this, you need to get this.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of these ads are run by small creators, and especially on TikTok I see a lot of small creators promoting these products and using these similar tactics to try and engage with the customer base. And because they use these ads on the short form content, which usually gives you the option to swipe away or to just move on to something else, the content kind of has to be engaging. They kind of rely on that shock factor for you to stay, so you'll witness the whole ad and then maybe be more inclined to buy whatever product it is they're trying to sell. So these are a few examples, and it's for this one specific product, which I think is like a hyaluronic acid, like a balm, a stick thing. I keep seeing this everywhere, and I do think I've kind of ruined my For You page a little bit because I've been searching these ads and watching them and screen recording them. So I think that's probably why I'm seeing loads and loads now. But especially for this certain product, people just seem to love to kind of show you these weird, shocking images. And I understand that it's the internet, you know. I think as time's gone on, people are, we're becoming less prude to things that we see online. But I do think that if you are a company that's trying to get established in the world, in the business world, when you use tactics like this, it kind of gets me thinking, like, is your aim to actually sell something that is of true value and true quality to someone, or is it simply just to hop on a trend and just create these sort of micro trends that I think we see so often? I think I see it a lot on TikTok, a lot of social media. Every time I'm there, I see this new like mini trend. And although I think trends like this can be fun and engaging, especially for young people who are using social media, I think as well, it kind of gets you thinking, but why? Like, what's this for? Is this really, something that's truly fun? Or are they trying to sell things to young people or children who don't necessarily know better? So when these small creators do advertise these products, what I've noticed is that there's these two key factors, which is they are low in price and extremely on trend. So while I was gathering clips for examples for this video, I came across this one account which aligns with this explanation perfectly.
My boyfriend said I was too saggy yesterday. If you have saggy boobs, clap your hands.
If you go and scroll through their content, most of it starts off with these kind of weird, shocking statements, these things that you might not expect to hear someone say. I think no matter how chronically online you are, to start a video saying something like "my man calls me Mrs. Saggy Boobs" is definitely it's still shocking, I think. I was just shocked at how blatant it was. Like, I don't think they were trying to hide the fact that, this was a tactic they were trying to use. So obviously this style of advertising for a product is it's unserious, it's silly, and I guess you could say it's even a little bit unprofessional. But in a way they work. They do get you to stop and pay attention to what they're saying. You kind of want to know, hang on, like, what are you trying to sell to me? You've just started off this this advertisement with this weird shocking statement or like a mildly graphic photo? What are you actually trying to sell to me, or what's your message from this video? Before I continue though, I just want to make it clear that I'm not hating on this creator or anyone for that matter who chooses to advertise these products. I just think that this account in particular is a perfect example of what I'm trying to talk about here today, and the type of content that keeps you there and tugs on your innate curiosity to find out what happens next. So this type of advertising, these clips that I've just been showing you, it kind of leads us into this pathway of rage bait. Now, I'm sure a lot of people now know what rage bait is, but if you don't, rage bait is defined as online content designed to provoke strong negative reactions, not to inform, but to increase engagement or profit or attention. So you could also use the phrase, all publicity is good publicity, to describe this sensation. So I want to ask the question, does this work? And if so, why? So speaking from my own personal experience, I have kind of fallen victim to these micro trends and maybe some of these flash sales where they say, it's not going to be there for much longer. And then you find out actually it's been on flash sale for months. And admittedly, I have had some ignorance to the quality of how these products are made and of course the ethics of how these products are made. I feel like part of the allure, at least in my opinion, is that we're not seeing a lot of these products be advertised to us from major A-list celebrities. It's not Kylie Jenner or Zendaya who's showing us these products and trying to get us to buy them. It's small creators, it's people like me and you selling us these products. And I think there's more of an inherent trust in someone who we can see is kind of in the same tax bracket as us, rather than a celebrity who might be quite tone deaf to not only the prices of these products, but also how do they fit into people's daily lives? Is this something that people need and is going to be useful to them? Or is it just another bit of consumerism for us to spend money on? We take what celebrities try and sell to us with a grain of salt, and rightfully so. I think their credibility is something that always comes into question, especially when something's being promoted to you from a celebrity that might not have a direct link or a direct interest in the product they're trying to sell. So one of the most famous and outrageous examples of this was in 2017 when Kendall Jenner was featured in an advertisement for Pepsi in which she seemingly ended police brutality by giving the officer a single can of Pepsi. I think celebrities relatively have nothing to lose if these things go wrong. The backlash for Kendall Jenner from this ad was huge and it was so talked about at the time, and I think it's something that even today people still remember and reference. But Kendall Jenner is fine. She's still got her money, she's still got her fame and her family. She wasn't, I guess you could say she was personally affected. She might have been upset about it, but in terms of her image, her livelihood, all of that is protected. The whole Kardashian-Jenner clan in general, that their image, their fame, their fortune, that I think for them, that's probably their most valued things about them, even if maybe they don't want to admit it is. A smaller creator on TikTok promoting these items probably does have a lot more to lose, and they probably rely on the support from doing this advertisement as part of their daily income. I think a way as well that they can establish trust is by getting a little bit too personal. Even though I am a bit critical about how they are advertising them in like the language they're using or the images that they're choosing to display on the ad, I do think we're getting more personal, we're getting more raw and real. And if someone can be vulnerable and show that side of them to promote something, I think, again, it builds a little bit more trust in their opinion on this product. It's not always pretty or aesthetic, it's real life. Now, of course, advertising in general, it's not a new thing. It's not something that people are unaware of. We see it all the time, but I think now they're jamming themselves into every single aspect of our lives. It's getting impossible to escape. I opened TikTok and within 37 seconds, 5 ads were displayed to me, 4 for the same exact product. And then I did the same thing for YouTube, and I had one ad on the homepage and then 4 on YouTube Shorts in a span of 25 seconds. Some of these ads as well are set up in your typical short form content. The things that we're used to seeing on TikTok, I think the way that people position the camera, the way they speak to the camera, even like kind of like what I'm doing now, how I'm holding a mic, I've got my ring light behind me. There's a setup that we're used to seeing. And I think they do that to the point where sometimes you don't even realize it's an ad at first. In my opinion, I think we should be able to correctly identify what are ads and what's just someone's opinion, or what someone might just include in their content and they say, oh, I love Pepsi, here's me drinking Pepsi, but it's not sponsored. To me, this is important because we're already so targeted for all the ads we see online, from our search histories on Google to our online shopping, the things that we put in our bags for online shopping, even the things we say out loud and then we magically get an ad for it 10 minutes later. I think that because we are so bombarded with ads, these ads that we see on TikTok or YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, that use this sort of tactic to make it seem like, oh, it's not an ad at first, it's just a normal video. I think that trust is broken from the point of a customer, because personally, I get really annoyed when I start watching a video and I think it's a video, just someone's content, and then I realize it's an ad. Ads that set up like this know they're being sneaky and they rely on that so that you click and buy. But I do think the true goals of these companies should be extremely transparent from the get-go. What are the companies trying to sell us? Is it worth it? Can we trust this person's opinion? Or is it just tat that has no real purpose to anyone and will just end up in a landfill? I think it's important that we ask ourselves if we want to be a part of this machine and feed into it with our clicks and our purchases. I've seen a few other people talk about this as well, and this is brands commenting on viral TikToks or celebrities' videos, kind of edging them in and trying to act like, you know, we're best friends or something like that. You might see them comment with a tagline that's kind of outdated for the internet, especially, like I said, micro trends are just so, they come and go the minute you see them. So you'll usually see a sort of out of date, trendy slang phrase from a brand on a viral video that's probably had to wait months to get approved before they can actually comment on it. We've seen how this can go wrong really easily, and that was with a young girl who had a stammer, and a company used her stammer and turned it into an edit video for whatever it was they were trying to promote. Trying to get in with the young people, it very much feels like, you know, some 40-year-old man in office trying to sound cool and get on trend with what young people are viewing on TikTok or Instagram. So my goal of this video isn't necessarily to sway you away from ever buying anything you see advertised to you by a small creator on TikTok, or even enjoying that type of content or making that content if you do. It's to get you thinking about the way products are advertised to you so that you can make the most informed decision possible. So when you see an ad like this on your For You page, I hope that you kind of remember this video and kind of think back to what this is. I'm sure a lot of people who have already had this type of thought before when seeing this content, but I think once in a while, it's nice to just take a step back from what we're used to seeing online and just accepting it as it is, and actually think about it a bit more critically and you know, seeing what we can all gain from that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. If there's anything that you want me to talk about or any thoughts that you have about this video, then please comment them down below, and I'd love to have a discussion with you about them, or even make a video about it. That would be really nice. And with that, I'll see you next time.